Welcome to the Literary Batman. I'm Victor, and I like Batman a lot. I've been collecting Batman for the past 15 years, and now I want to share those stories with you. Today we're doing a user request from one of my viewers, and it's a really cool book called The Batman Who Laughs. So let's go take a look at our bat shelf and see if we can find it. The Batman Who Laughs is a fun, flawed, but ultimately worthwhile skirmish between Batman and the Batman Who Laughs. The Batman Who Laughs is an alternate version of Batman who was infected with the Joker toxin, thus converting into a hybrid of Batman's drive to succeed and the Joker's insanity. The story is primarily a fight against the seemingly unbeatable foe, but it also tackles the loss of identity, the true purpose of Gotham City, and the impact of fatherhood on our heroes. It begins with Batman chasing a smuggling convoy on his Bat Raptor, a cool motorcycle tank hybrid. Throughout the chase, he is arguing with Alfred about how to catch up with them and whether or not there's an insurance against Batman's incidents. Batman ends up stating that the insurance is called Dark Knight Returns, which I have to admit, even I chuckled at. He examines the contraband on the convoy and realizes that it's actually the body of Bruce Wayne. The Batman Who Laughs appears to be pulling Bruce Waynes from alternate universes and gathering their blood to create a toxin that will twist all of Gothamites into versions of himself. When Batman realizes who he is up against, he enlists the Joker's aid to defeat the Batman Who Laughs. The last time they did this was in Dark Knight's Metal. Joker holds up his end by intentionally shooting himself to release a concentrated form of his toxin on Batman, thus starting the process of turning our Batman into the Batman Who Laughs. To assist him, the Batman Who Laughs enlisted the help of the Grim Knight, a version of Batman who picked up the gun that killed his parents and killed the mugger. This Batman turned his Gotham into a police state, managed solely by him. Using heavy artillery to accomplish tasks, he assists the Batman Who Laughs to trick our universe's Batman into playing into their hands. On Batman's team is Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, and surprisingly James Gordon. As a primer, James Gordon is Jim Gordon's son, who exhibited psychopathic tendencies since childhood and grew up to be a relentless emotionalist serial killer. Batgirl, his sister, threw a batarang into his eye in a previous story, which is why one eye looks glassed over in this one. At this point of the story, James is taking an experimental drug that gives him the ability to feel remorse, and is working at a grocery store as a stalker. For all intents and purposes, he seems cured of his psychopathy. This is a negative for Commissioner Gordon and Batman, who are relying on his murderous expertise to predict the Batman Who Laughs' next move. Batman is not doing so well. The Joker toxin is taking over his body, and he decides that the only way to beat his enemy is to become him. So he stops taking anti-Joker serum and fashions a helm like that of the Batman Who Laughs. Unable to get ahead of him, Batman implores James Gordon to try harder to see the big picture. Commissioner Gordon is captured by the Grim Knight, and James watches as he tries to drown him. When all hope is lost, Batman completely turns into the Batman Who Laughs, overcomes his enemy, and is shot by the Joker, who promises to take him out if he turned completely. James Gordon kills the Grim Knight to save his father. The story really rushes here, and it shows a completely healed Bruce Wayne, who apparently received an infusion from an alternate universe Bruce Wayne to save him, kind of like some super stem cells. Alfred ends the story extolling Bruce's resolve to not turn into his enemy, even though he had changed physiologically. The role of fathers changes within the story. It starts with Bruce remembering his father and mother, and Alfred playing Red Rover with him in the mansion lawn. They never let him get through. His father showed him the meaning of the map on the subway coins and instilled a love for Gotham in him at a very young age. Bruce also remembers his father as filling in the spaces between his ribs with his fingers before he died in Crime Alley. Finally, he remembers his father coaching a young Bruce up a rope to get out of the cave that he fell into as a child. His father was a source of strength. When he was taken from Bruce, gaps formed metaphorically between his ribs, and he lost a part of himself. His relationship with Alfred shows Bruce the power of enduring love. Throughout the journey, Alfred sits on Bruce's shoulder, guiding him through and letting him know when he is stepping too far out of line. Early on, they struggle over whether or not to save the Joker from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Batman refuses to let the Joker die, but Alfred, thinking only of his family, wants to let nature take its course. As Bruce transitions into madness, the two come to blows, with Alfred holding his own against the superiorly trained Bruce. This brings some clarity to Bruce, and he embraces Alfred as they apologize for fighting. Alfred's love led him to protect Bruce against the Batman Who Laughs in the climax. Since there are no other members of the Bat family in this book, Alfred is the only family that Bruce has to fall back on, and when he goes mad. It's his love of Alfred that keeps him from losing himself in the madness. Jim and James Gordon's father-son relationship begins as fraughtly as you can imagine, with Jim pulling the plug on the experimental treatment of his son and leaving him to rot in a jail cell instead. This may seem harsh, but remember that James killed an untold number of people and was brutally efficient and an emotionless man. He even gained the Joker's respect. After years of trying to help James, Jim Gordon seemed ready to give up on him. It was only through their shared experience that Jim was able to see how much his son had changed and was able to form a bond with him again. This is highlighted in their shared Batman Beyond suits that they don at the end of the story to fight the Grim Knights. Batman's love for the city drives this story. It was placed in his head early by his father, who told him all about the subway and how it costs the same fare for everyone in Gotham, no matter how far you go on the subway. Therefore, there's no delineation between rich and poor classes of Gotham, because anybody can get anywhere. How he reconciles this with living at the city limit is not really explored. The city founders also took a prime real estate section to use as a potter's field to inter the unknowns of the city. They even invented a last laugh system to cut the city off in the case of a catastrophic emergency and become self-sustaining. Bruce's love for Gotham continued into his adulthood, and he became Batman to protect the city. He has a lot of pride in Gotham, which culminated in him building a last laugh failsafe of his own that cuts the city off, moves water onto its own reservoir, and administers an antidote by drone throughout the city in case of a catastrophic attack. He uses a passphrase to activate the system from the indigenous Miagani tribe that used to live there, and it goes with new eyes. The Batman Who Laughs disturbs Bruce's feelings about Gotham when he shows him an original map of the city. It shows the original last laugh system was meant to turn Gotham into a fortress city with its own food and water supply. There were additional plans for an armory, a disease creation center under Potter's Field, and anti-ship moorings around the city. Gotham was meant to stand against the world as a place to incubate the greatest humans. Batman reconciles this at the end by comparing Gotham and his quest to a bat. Unlike birds who are built for flying, bat flight defies what's natural and is about racing past yourself for greatness and your physical limitations. Batman isn't about knowing who you are, but who you want to be. Overall, this is a great story. It had some flaws towards the end and was a little bit rushed, but I think it told a really good middle section for the fight between Batman and the Batman Who Laughs. I'll give it 3 out of 5 cows. Don't forget, if you liked what you heard, to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on The Literary Batman. I am Batman, you are Batman, we are Batman.